Good morning. My name is Crystal Melanson from Zen Functional Wellness, and I am a nutrition and holistic health practitioner here in Fort Collins. And I wanted to talk to you guys today about heartburn. So it's been a topic that's been coming up a lot recently in my practice, and I thought it's something that we could easily address. So we're going to talk about the real reason most people get heartburn, mistakes that make it worse, and how you can solve it for good. So heartburn or acid reflux, GERD, it can be very painful. And I've experienced it before, so I totally understand. But there is still popular belief that is actually caused by too much stomach acid seeping into your esophagus. However, quite the opposite has been shown to be true for most. So it is not too much stomach acid, but often too little. And so what happens is that you have this sphincter, it's called the lower esophageal sphincter, and it is what closes off your esophagus and your stomach. But it opens a little bit to allow food to go into the stomach. It opens up a little bit when you burp, but when you have low stomach acid, you cannot properly break down foods. And this can cause the bacteria to produce gases and increase the pressure in your stomach. And so when you have your stomach and the pressure starts increasing, it starts to balloon up. And what this does is that can force the sphincter open because it needs to release that gas. And when that sphincter opens up, then a little bit of stomach acid gets into your esophagus. And a little bit of acid, even a tiny amount, is going to be very painful and going to be damaging. So you can see where the problem will lie then when people start to look for relief. They often get over-the-counter or prescription acid blockers because they believe that, there's acid in my esophagus. That means there's too much. Let's bring down the acid. But when you really have too low of stomach acid, it's not the right idea, but people start to bring down the stomach acid further by using things like PPIs. Prilosec is one of the most popular brands of acid blockers. Prilosec, specifically, that one has been shown to reduce your stomach acid to nearly zero. So people that use it longer term, their stomach acid to nearly zero. That is not good because it's incredibly important for our stomach health, our digestive health, our whole body. The use of these drugs have also been shown to cause nutritional deficiencies such as B12, folic acid, vitamin C, and many minerals like calcium, magnesium, iron, minerals that are needed to help produce stomach acid. So unfortunately, the cascade continues, right? So you think you have too high of stomach acid, you have heartburn, let's bring it down. You decrease the stomach acid even further. So you have a further depression of stomach acid, a decrease in nutrient absorption, of protein absorption, and an increased risk of gastritis. And it is incredibly important, like we said, for the stomach to have a very low pH. This protects our body from infection, from bad bacteria, from fungus, from parasites. And so now you've reduced your pH even low, even higher, less stomach acid, so the wrong environment, and you are at a higher risk of infection. A very common linked infection to acid reflux is H. pylori. And H. pylori is a bacterial infection that's very common in the population. They say about over 50% worldwide of people have it, and the risk tends to increase with age. So if you're 40 years old, you're at a 40% chance of having H. pylori. So it's very common, and it does increase. And this is something that we can really grab hold of when we have low stomach acid because we can't protect our body from these infections. So H. pylori actually suppresses stomach acid further and increases your risk for ulcers, gastritis, gastric cancer, and down the spiral you go. So you have more pains, more meds, a worse environment, infections, IBS, the leaky gut, etc., etc., etc. So you just keep going down the spiral. So I've told you all the reasons you want to stay out of the loop, but what can you do? So first, if you are not yet on medications, like PPIs or anything like that, then I highly recommend that you try to handle your heartburn pains without them first. So, and if you are on medications, then work with a nutritionist and in relation with your doctor to taper off these medications. So this is going to be very important for your long-term health. So the first step you can take is, especially if this is a chronic issue, but I highly recommend looking into your gut health with a comprehensive panel. And part of that would be testing for like H. pylori, other infections as well. If you have an infection, that needs to be handled first before you can really heal your gut. So the test I often use, is often partially covered by insurance, which is great. And it's extremely comprehensive. So if you'd like more information on that test, let me know. But you need to figure out if you have any infections already, because those need to be eradicated and brought down and out of your body before we can really make a lot of more progress. The second thing you can do is to reduce inflammatory foods and triggers. So you probably know if you have some foods that trigger pains, things like fatty foods, spicy foods, citrus often are, some of them, then don't eat them. That stomach acid is going to be damaging. So for this time period, try just not to eat those foods. Other things like gluten, dairy, grains for a lot, high sugar, these can all be reduced or eliminated to help reduce the inflammation in your body and restore that healthy environment. The third thing is before a meal, an easy and very effective thing you can do to get your stomach to start producing acid is to consume a little bit of raw apple cider vinegar. So it takes a little getting used to, I understand, but a tablespoon or so in a shot glass with a little bit of water. Just take that, before a meal, 15 minutes or so. That's going to help your stomach start to produce its own stomach acid before you eat so that it can help break down the foods. And this is a really effective thing. The raw apple cider vinegar, it also has beneficial bacteria in it too. So once again, for that healthy landscape. The fourth thing is to eat smaller meals, chew more thoroughly. If you're having a hard time breaking down food, then use your teeth to help get that going so that your stomach doesn't have to do quite as much work. The fifth thing is digestive enzymes. So you can pick these up at any natural food store. There's a lot of different ones out there. A broad spectrum digestive enzyme is great. But this is going to help you just break down that food a little bit. So therefore it'll produce, less gas. This is not, going to be, this is not going to heal you, but it will help you find relief. And it's easy, very safe and effective way to help you bring down some of the pains. So digestive enzymes, they're cheap and a great thing you can add on. The sixth thing is Manuka honey. So this is a special honey that is from New Zealand, and it has been shown to actually help soothe the stomach lining, help with bacterial infections. So this specific honey you can get, and a small amount, like 1 to 2 teaspoons a day, is enough. And then the seventh thing is probiotics. So once again, we just want that healthy bacteria. Bacteria in our whole body is so important, that right amount, the right kinds, those good guys that help protect us. So probiotics, if you have a good supplement or, fermented foods, things like that to get that good, healthy, beneficial bacteria. So those are some steps you can take. A few things I get asked about in relation to this is supplementing with HCl pepsin, that's, stomach acid, hydrochloric acid. This can be effective for many, But if you have H. pylori, then it's not a good idea, as it will feed into that infection. So this is just why, again, I highly recommend you do some testing and see what's going on, because if you have H. pylori and you take HCl supplements, then that's going to be kind of a bad combo. So you want to make sure you know what you're taking, even if you are just doing over-the-counter supplements. And if you need relief for acute attacks, 1/8 to 1/4 a teaspoon of baking soda and water. This is a gentler way to soothe the acid that hits your esophagus. So that's a way you can kind of take something if you do get some acute pains or while you're trying to heal and taper off your meds. Of course, if you decide to do that, talk to your doctor first. So this is what you need to know about heartburn and stomach acid. If this is something you're dealing with, then please, you can contact me for a free consult so we can discuss this further and help you break out of that cycle, and so that we can keep you healthy. This is something that can be hard to do, so we really want to get on top of it the best we can. So if you'd like to discuss this further in your particular issue, then you can contact me at zenfunctionalwellness.com or crystal@zenfunctionalwellness.com for email. So I look forward to talking with you guys again soon. I hope this was some valuable information. And if you have any questions, you can comment below. All right, have a great day.